All right, for today's video review, we're going to be taking a look at Transformers Beast Wars Transmetal 2 Stinkbomb. Yeah, this is a pretty cool little figure. He's a basic class. Obviously, the Transmetal 2s were kind of the second run of Transmetals that got rid of the third modes that had like the vehicle modes and kind of just made them like weird kind of amalgamations of organic and techie detail. Very asymmetrical, lots of nice kind of intense surface sculpting. And yeah, Stinkbomb's a cool little figure. Obviously turns into a Transmetal 2 skunk here, which is a neat design. Now, obviously, I think that the legs are just like way too long to realistically be, like a skunk design, but that was not uncommon. Like Spitter, Transmetal 2 Spitter had that problem too of like, having some of the legs be just like super long to accommodate the fact that they were the robot mode legs. Whereas, like, if you were actually keeping like a realistic size for skunk legs, they'd be like little tiny, not these like giant claws, but they're kind of mutiny creatures in the Transmetal 2 line, a little bit more ferocious. So I think it works relatively well. But yeah, nice skunk mode overall. I like the head sculpt there. Maybe could have used a little bit more paint, maybe picking out the teeth, but otherwise looks good. Has the nice white stripe there, obviously. I love the chromed skunk tail here. The chrome on mine has held up pretty well on this one, and I also really like how it has this kind of like lighter opaque paint underneath the tail. Just kind of adds a lot more, I don't know, depth and makes the chrome look even better in my opinion. Just kind of helps the whole thing pop. But yeah, in terms of articulation in this mode, nothing at the head. I mean, it can kind of bend down for transformation, but it disjoints itself, so it doesn't really like look good. The front legs, will just end up being the robot mode legs. So they've got a ball joint here at the hips, a ball joint at the knees here, and then a ball joint at the feet, so they can kind of get all that range there. The back legs will end up being the robot mode arms, but these just kind of end up on the back of the robot mode arms. So the hips are on ball joints because they'll be the shoulders, and then the lower feet themselves do have a knee joint. Unfortunately, on mine, a couple of the ball joints have gotten really, really loose throughout the years. Like the back legs, which will be the arms, are like super, super floppy loose. It's really annoying. And the feet are a bit loose as well. Pretty much the joints that you have to like turn for transformation. I should, I don't know, get in there with some clear nail polish and actually fix those joints up at some point, because they are pretty bad, and it does kind of make messing with the figure really unenjoyable. And then the tail also, it's on a ball joint, so it can kind of like rotate around like that. It is also on a separate hinge, so it can hinge back and forth. So it's a pretty, it's a static piece, but it's got a pretty versatile range at the base there. And then it does have a little claw on the top here that can open and close, which is kind of neat. The robot mode head is a little bit visible in a kind of unfortunate spot here, just because of how the tail ends up being kind of like a ponytail in robot mode. But yeah, just try to ignore that, I guess. But yeah, if you flip open this little slot here, you can see his maximal spark crystal. And weirdly, he does have that on the other side as well, except it's just like a, piece of sculpting rather than the spark crystal. That's kind of strange. Usually the asymmetry of the Transmetal 2 designs would mean that he would only have had that on one side, but whatever. In terms of comparisons in this mode, I gotta get him standing up here. So the legs sometimes just give way compared to the weight of the figure. Here he is just for the standard one with Kingdom Sideswipe for that average size deluxe. And for a core class beast figure, here he is with Kingdom Rat Trap. Obviously the basic classes were a bit bigger than the core classes, but yeah, he definitely dwarfs Rat Trap there a bit. But yeah, to get on to transformation, first thing we want to do is we can just handle the arms right now. We just take the foot here of the skunk leg, and it will just fold up like that, and then the back of the leg kind of becomes the arm, sort of similar to how Silverbolt diffuser works. So you can just fold out the arms just like that. The hands are backwards. Do these rotate around? We'll get there. The legs, the head, you just unclip here, and then you can take this whole section, the whole back section just kind of becomes a shell on the figure's back, and you can rotate that around just like that. Yes, okay, these do end up backwards. So you rotate around the arms like that. I don't remember doing that when I just transformed it back for this video, but yeah, you can take the waist, swivel it around, and then just kind of straighten out the legs, and then take the feet and rotate them around so they're sitting forward. Take these chrome bits and they will just kind of rotate to the back to get out of the way so they're not just like up against the side. And then you take the skunk head itself, kind of fold it in like this. You want to take the robot mode head and the panel that it's on, and it will just unclick. So you can bring that in and click it into place, and then just bring this onto the figure's back, and then bring the panel back down, and then rotate around the head. And there we have Stinkbomb in his robot mode. And yeah, it's a fairly cool design. I like the whole aesthetic of the like giant ponytail. It's not like, you know, totally form-fitting to like, you know, actually like sitting on the back of the figure, but it's a cool look. Like I said before, unfortunately, the big thing that kind of keeps me from enjoying this figure right now is just that the arms are like really floppy loose. It's really annoying. And the feet are a little bit loose too, which does not help with stability, especially since he has the weight of this you know, this ponytail in the back there. It can be a bit irritating. But yeah, in terms of articulation, the head is on a swivel, so it can rotate around like that. The ponytail still has all the same range that it did before. You can flip it up like this and have it be like an attack mode. The shoulders are on ball joints that, you know, again, have gotten very loose. I need to fix those. The elbows are on ball joints, so they can rotate a little bit over 90. He definitely has kind of forearms that are a little bit too small in comparison to his upper arms, which is, you know, doesn't look great when you have his elbow bent, but whatever. You can also bend backwards just for transformation, but it's not really useful. The waist has a swivel. Hips are on ball joints. They can rotate around just like that. Knees are on ball joints. They can get a little bit more than 90 degrees worth of bend, has a thigh swivel, and then the feet are on ball joints as well. So pretty typical basic class Beast Wars figure of just a lot of ball joints, which is definitely appreciated, but that definitely means that they have the ability to get a little bit loose over time, as you know, hasn't really been too much of a problem with most of my Transmetal 2 figures, but Stinkbomb in particular, for whatever reason, has definitely suffered the most from it. But yeah, in terms of comparisons in this mode, here he is again with Sideswipe and with Rat Trap. So you can see the basic class, you know, kind of split the difference between modern deluxes and modern core class figures. But yeah, no, looks pretty good. He's a fun figure. I just need to tighten up the joints a little bit. Not one of my favorite Transmetals, but he's a decent figure. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to him. If you enjoy my videos, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel. I do reviews every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Make sure to check me out on my Instagram account. That's toys.n.art. And without further ado, here we have Transformers Beast Wars Transmetal 2 Stinkbomb.